I just remember in that moment being terrified because I didn't know what breaking my water meant. I didn't know
what their plans
I didn't know what, she literally didn't even speak to me. She just brings out this huge hook, not a word, tells me to like prop up my legs, and I'm just like, hello, like what are you doing? She broke my water. She left. I said, Fredo, she cannot be here. I was like, I felt so like violated in a way because it just felt like it was like a machine working.
It's like they were just doing whatever the they wanted to do, and they weren't attentive. They weren't trying to encourage a natural birth, nothing.
And I made it clear that I didn't want to have a C-section because I did hear like horror stories of like they will try to like push for a C-section, and you know, you just hear so many things and you don't know what's real, what's not. I was so young and I didn't know how to advocate for myself. It makes me so angry just like thinking back on it because there's so many things that just should not have happened at all. Hey y'all, it's your girl Jasmine, and of course we got Fredo here today.
Yes, sir.
Having a baby can be so spiritual and enlightening, and you feel like this feeling that you can't even explain, but it also can be such a traumatizing experience. And now with having 2 babies, we've definitely learned that every birthing experience is different.
And no matter how much you're prepared,
you're never fully prepared.
Because literally anything can happen at any moment. What we went through, it was beautiful, but it was something we kind of kept behind closed doors for a long time. Today we're gonna open up about our delivery experience, something that we never talked about on YouTube before.
Ever, even with Ava, we never talked about in depth all that we went through.
Yeah.
And it was a lot. And it was actually really cool now to look back on the 2 and see that we're 7 years difference. Our maturity was a lot different, and there was just so much that I learned from my first pregnancy and delivery and labor and everything that I brought into my second with Shy.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a wild ride to get through, but let's just jump right into it. This was so traumatizing, and it's one of the big reasons that we wanted to wait so long to even have another baby, because of our birthing experience with having Ava.
We were like, we don't want a baby ever again. Like, I damn sure didn't want
And it's crazy because it's like you just saw me witness, like you were the witness of all of it, and you didn't want to experience even seeing me go through that again at all. Like, we were that traumatized and talked about it for years with each other that we did not want children ever again. I did not want to have to give birth ever again. Like, that was how deep that it went with us with this delivery. So with Ava, I ended up having to have an emergency C-section. I was 23 years old. I was not very knowledgeable as I thought with giving birth, and we even went to a birthing class for like 8 hours, and I thought I was so prepared, but nothing could have prepared me for what we experienced. So leading up to even having Ava, we were trying everything for me to go into labor on my own. That was one thing that I was for sure knew what I was like really trying to do. Walking, I was on the yoga ball, I was just doing everything I possibly could for my body to do what it was meant to do. Ended up just laboring at home for what, 24 hours? I was always like told different things about when to go to the hospital and when to know when your body's like telling you like you're going to give birth soon, and it was all new to me. I thought that the longer I labored at home, the better off we'd be at the hospital. We lived super close to the hospital, so I was okay with waiting. We weren't in the situation where we had to drive an hour to a hospital. Once I got to the point where I was like, okay, this is unbearable, can't take this anymore, we had to get to the hospital. And I think that part of just initially getting there was something that we weren't prepared for, because you have to go to triage, which they check you before even admitting you. Even if you're like, I'm having the baby, like they have to check and see like what's really going on.
This is basically where
because I feel like everything was going good until we got there. It's crazy though, because like really it makes me upset. So when we get to triage and they are doing all the checks and everything, we're in triage laboring for over 24 hours. Not a normal thing. And the thing is, now that we've gone through a whole different experience, I was not walking around. I was not on a ball. They didn't give me a peanut ball to like switch positions, have any tools given to me. I didn't know that I had tools at my disposal. I had no clue as to what I should have asked for, what should have been given to me, what I should have been doing. Like everything was just...
We were put in a triage room to basically... I don't want to say rot.
I was gonna say rot,
but basically to rot.
It felt like to rot.
They just put us there. It didn't seem like they were trying to help us. They were trying to...
And I don't know if it's because we were young and it was just like us. Like, I don't know. I will never know like the reasonings for it.
But it didn't feel like they were doing anything to help encourage us to have the natural birth that we wanted.
Yeah.
You know, again, we have knowledge of what to do, but when you get in that moment, it becomes real and everything is happening in real time and it's fast, you know? We labored at home for more than 24 hours, get to the hospital when the contractions are unbearable. They put us in this small triage room. It's totally understanding that there may be rooms filled, but we were in this triage room for a long time. Okay, it wasn't just like 5-6 hours. No, we were in a small ER triage room for more than 24 hours.
I don't think they were attentive at all.
They weren't attentive. They weren't trying to encourage a natural birth. Nothing. Put in this room to just rot.
And I made it clear that I didn't want to have a C-section, because I did hear like horror stories of like they will try to like push for a C-section, and you know, you just hear so many things and you don't know what's real, what's not. I was so young and I didn't know how to advocate for myself. I didn't know what to ask for, what I needed. I had no clue. So while in triage, I'm laboring for as long as I possibly could without getting an epidural, because I also thought that that would slow down my labor, get through the contractions as long as possible, then get the epidural once like, I really remember like I was starting to like black out because the pain was becoming so unbearable for me. So I get an epidural in triage, which come to find out they don't even like to do that now. And that even made things worse because then all of the laboring that I had done completely slowed down. Up to this point, my water never broke. I was just having contractions consistently for a long time. Hours later, I'm feeling fine, but I'm not progressing in the dilation of my labor, so I need to get to 10 centimeters. I'm pretty sure I was at like 5 or 6 after all of those hours.
It was a long time.
It was a lot. So we finally get into an actual hospital room, like a labor and delivery room.
Where you have the space and you have the tools to do the things you need to do to help progress your delivery process.
But then at that point, I've already had the epidural, so I couldn't move at all. I have been up for, feels like, I think days. Like my body feels like it's just done. I'm exhausted. I feel delirious, like I don't even know what's real anymore. I was all over the place mentally, physically. My body's just giving out on me. I could feel it. One of the biggest differences between feeding Chicago and feeding Ava is that this time around, I was not able to breastfeed or pump as long as I wanted to. Unlike with Ava, I was able to nurse her well over a year. But when it came time to feed Chicago, producing a lot at the beginning, breast milk and everything was going amazing. And then he hit a growth spurt and he was just wanting so much more milk than my body was producing. It was such a hard time for me because I had to come to the realization that I had to give him formula. I quickly learned that feeding your little little one is not one size fits all. And once I became more knowledgeable about my options, let go of so much stress, and that is why I'm so thankful for today's video sponsor, Bobby. Bobby is an amazing formula brand. Their main mission is to support parents no matter how they choose to feed their little ones. Whether you're formula feeding, combo feeding, or you just want a spare can of formula in the pantry, Bobby is there to meet any needs you may have. Their formulas are USDA organic and clean label certified and designed to be gentle on tiny tummies. I love that Bobby is mom founded, mom led, and trusted by over 500,000 parents, and honestly, that says a lot. So whether you're nursing, bottle feeding, or somewhere in between, Bobby is there to support you on your feeding journey. Check out hibobby.com to explore all their options. Oh, this part makes me so mad. Oh, this makes me so angry to like think about. So as soon as I get into the hospital room, Fredo was bringing our things behind, so he wasn't in the room just yet, and my mom wasn't there either. Like, she went to like get food or something because they were just transporting me. So I'm in the room alone, and a midwife comes in. Doesn't really speak to me, and just like has all these tools out. And then Fredo's like finally in the room, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm gonna break your water. No communication, no explaining what that entails, nothing. And it makes me so angry because I just feel like it was, again, just not even a common decency thing to do for a first-time mom. I'm young, like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to expect. I just remember in that moment being terrified because I didn't know what breaking my water meant. I didn't know
what their plans
I didn't
were.
know what, she literally didn't even speak to me. She just brings out this huge hook, not a word, tells me to like prop up my legs, and I'm just like, hello, like, what are you doing? She broke my water. She left. I said, Fredo, she cannot be here. I was like, I felt so like violated in a way, because it just felt like it was like a machine working.
It's like they were just doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do and didn't care to explain, didn't care to help, didn't care to nothing. They just was doing whatever they wanted to do, and we were just there like guinea pigs to go on.
It makes me so angry just like thinking back on it, because there's so many things that just should not have happened at all. Naturally, your water should break. I mean, it is normal for them to break your water also, just to like try to get labor going. Mm-hmm. But the problem was she just wasn't communicating with me why, when, where, nothing. Like, I didn't know the steps of why she was doing it, what was gonna happen after that. Like, I was in the dark on everything. Fredo talked to the nurses and said, she cannot be our doctor. I didn't want her to be our doctor, and she was gonna be the one to deliver Ava. And I did not want that. I was so uncomfortable. I just said no. So we ended up thankfully getting a new doctor. And I remember liking her, but I also at that point didn't feel like I could trust anyone. I remember the moment, Fredo tried to advocate so hard for me because he knew I just did not want a C-section. And once we met the new doctor and she checked me, and then she checked me again a few hours later, she was like, the Pitocin. I remember they gave me Pitocin, and it was supposed to help you dilate quicker. She said the words like C-section, and I lost it because it was just never something that I wanted to do. I was scared to have one. It was just like another like punch to the gut. Like, I just was like, damn, like, give me a break. The reason for the C-section, there was a few. The main one was that the Pitocin was making Ava's heart rate speed up. She was like, we have to get her out of there. Like, there's no other option. And Fredo was like, are you, like, I remember him asking, like, are you sure there's nothing else we can do? Like, any other options? And they were like, no. Like, C-section is the only option. We need to do it now. I feel like a lot of things happened very, very quickly at that point. Yeah,
the decision at that point was already made for them, but we then had to come to terms with their decision that they've made, which was at that point the best decision because of the health for her and for the baby. You know, at that point it's becoming a life-threatening thing. You've been in labor for more than like
2 days.
2 days at that point. Ava's heart rate is speeding up. we now have to forcefully have a C-section. And it was something that we weren't planned for at all.
We were not prepared.
We were not prepared. We didn't want it to happen. We labored for all that time, wishing and hoping and praying to have a, safe, natural delivery. And at that point, it was like the most defeating shit ever. And at the same time, it's like, you're about to have this baby. So it's so conflicting. It's just
so excited to have the baby, but everything leading up to it is like,
damn.
But damn. One thing that kind of made me be like, okay, like I knew Ava needed to get out, but the doctor, she was pregnant and she said, if it was me, I would be getting a C-section right now. And that made me feel a little bit better. Whether she would or not, it did make me feel better because I felt like, okay, she's putting herself in my position and she knows I'm scared, but it's in the best interest for both of us to make this happen.
It was C-section time and
they got us in very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they were fucking ready.
They were more than ready.
They were ready. They basically just had to hand us the slippers and say, hey, come get on this table,
Oh, that moment.
The experience of the C-section, we went in, they got you all prepared.
I remember, and I've seen people like later on, like you get very shaky. Like my entire body, it's like I don't have any control over it. And Fredo was like putting on all of the scrubs, so he wasn't with me just yet. I was so nervous because I didn't really know the procedure of a C-section and you're awake. So I'm like, oh my God, they're cutting me open. I'm wide awake. And you have like all of this like adrenaline pumping.
That you're not even prepared for. And you already went through hell.
You only had like 10 minutes to be like, okay, this is what's happening in my life right now. And this is it.
Scary.
It was so scary.
Very scary.
And I just remember like, she was finally born and I don't even know, did I even get to hold her?
It was like so fast.
It happened so quickly. I don't even remember if I got to hold her. I don't even remember.
I remember
like a second.
They pulled her out. I think I cut the umbilical.
It's such a blur.
At that moment, it's such a blur because everything. But yeah. I think I cut the cord. They put her on top of you for like a second.
And then they gave me all the medication to be completely knocked out.
And then this shit it's like so, oh my God. It's like so, it's like they didn't take you off. Mm-hmm. They put the baby in the incubator. Mm-hmm. And then now at this point, it's just me and Ava.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm just like knocked out in some random room.
That shit is crazy, but imagine being a first-time parent. Very first time, you're alone. I'm alone now with Ava in this incubator. Mom's off to who knows what. We just went through like 2 days of just pure hell. It was a lot.
Knowing like the first pictures we have, or just y'all and I wasn't there, like you got her footprints, you fed her a bottle for the first time, like I was not there. That kills me.
It was super rough to come to terms of reality in that moment, and it took us a long journey to heal from that entire experience, because I remember even after having, I'm like now telling Jazz like I don't ever want a kid ever again because the experience was just so traumatic. It's like, why would I ever want to give birth again,
Yeah.
And you don't learn until later that, if you're different, if you may be a little bit different, I'm not gonna say, but that it's a common thing that happens. The rates for people of color and minorities giving birth to like have problems and complications and God forbid even death is so high. You know, it makes it even scarier. It's like, why the hell would I even want to risk my family's peace, life, happiness to go through that?
It's like uncertainty and unknown.
Uncertainty and unknown. It is a very, very, very scary situation.
And you just made me remember that I didn't think that they were taking like my pain seriously throughout that time either.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned now, that they usually don't take it as seriously. Like they think that my pain level might not be as bad as I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Which later on, finding that out, I was like, okay, that makes sense, you know? Like, there's just certain things you realize later on where you're like, damn. My C-section recovery was very long. We ended up having to be in the hospital for 5 more days because of me. Because I was having complications with like my blood pressure, and I could barely even hold Ava, being able to get up to walk. Like all of these things were just things that we were not prepared for. And then being stuck in a hospital room with my newborn and Fredo, and we're like trying to figure out how to take care of a new baby. And then I'm also handicapped in a sense where I can't get up and pick her up. I can't just like go take a shower on my own and just like feel a little bit like myself anymore. Like it was just very, very, very hard. And it was such an emotional time for me because I had this like idea of how I wanted to be as a new mom, and I physically couldn't. And that was something that I took very hard because, you know, as a parent, as a mom, I wanted to be able to do everything and feel like wholeheartedly be there for her. And I just feel like I couldn't that first like week or so of her life.
Yeah. And that's the big reason why we went 7 years without having another baby. I'm sure if our experience was better the first time, we probably would have doubled back within the next like 2 years, because Ava is an amazing kid. Like she's so healthy, everything. 10 of her. Like if I could have 10 Avas, I would. So it just felt like a lot. And like I don't want to make it seem like we're only people that complain about having it. Like we never said anything. We didn't.
Yeah.
We never said nothing about it. We just lived our life, just went on, took our life. We took our bad experience, just wrapped it up in a ball and just said, hey, this is life. So
yeah. I know we didn't even talk about it online.
Didn't talk about it online, didn't care to, just kind of rolled with the punches. Now that leads to while we decided and wanted to have
this little baby,
another baby, which was a whole different experience because now we're more prepared, we're a lot older, we're a lot more mature, we're a lot more experienced, we're all of these things that we weren't before. And it does make the process a lot better because even her, like physically, her first pregnancy, she gained a lot of weight.
I did
just naturally, from whatever reason. It is what it is.
It was his fault.
Second pregnancy, she's doing amazing. She's shining, looking beautiful. We're like super prepared this time because we're like, all right, you know, the first time we didn't get that natural birth like we wanted. This time we're gonna do everything, even though there's a lot more complications and a lot more things can go wrong if you want to have a Vback.
And some doctors will say no completely.
Yeah, very unnecessary. You shouldn't even want to do it. And we were more determined this time because of everything we went through before that. Hey, we're gonna make sure this time we have a natural birth. We get to experience a natural birth. We get to experience as a family what we wanted to from the very start.
And I was very headstrong on doing everything differently this time around from start to finish. So I was walking, I was eating better. I found the most amazing doctor who spent her time listening to my concerns. She listened to my entire story about my first labor. She made me feel like she was listening, she heard me, she wanted me to have a Vback. She was like, we are gonna do anything and everything to get you to where you wanna be. And just knowing I had someone on my side and she really was like there rooting for me made such a difference. And she even said my entire team is pro VBAC. They want you to have that experience. So even if she wasn't there specifically, the team that would make sure like I was moving around. I got everything that I needed.
Yeah.
And that just made the experience so much different for me. Just even throughout my pregnancy, just knowing I had like an advocate, you know, for me as well.
It just made it more encouraging.
Yeah. And then I also felt like I'm doing everything I possibly can. So even if I do have to have a C-section, at least I know I've done and tried everything possible to have a natural birth. And that was something where I had better peace of mind knowing, like, Jasmine, at least you tried, you know?
It's a lot easier to be like, okay, I'm okay with having a C-section when you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
When you're not prepared for it and it just like is an emergency, it just sucks. It just really sucks.
That's, I mean, point blank, it sucks. We ended up being able to have a Vback with Shy.
It was an amazing experience.
Put in the clip of the moment when they said you're 10 centimeters and I can start pushing.
You did it. You did it. You fucking did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. You're 10.
Believe it.
You're 10. You did it. And now?
I'm 10 centimeters and she could feel his hair on his head.
We're pushing him out.
I know.
This is so awesome.
Isn't-
I'm so happy with you, Dad.
Yeah, me and Daddy were so happy.
Oh my God, this is crazy, Dad.
Yeah. Man, that was, oh my God.
Celebrated.
I remember just telling her, like, you did it.
Yeah, we were
You
crying.
could do it. You did it. Oh my God, that moment. Damn, that shit can make me cry because it made it seem like in the first pregnancy that her body wasn't able to do and you know wasn't able to have a natural
wasn't
birth.
meant to
like
have
it wasn't meant to be. So her reaching 10 centimeters dilated, that was like the happiest
on
moment
my
for her.
own, no Pitocin.
Yep, no Pitocin.
I did have an epidural, but no Pitocin. That was such an amazing moment. We could all as a family celebrate that moment before he was even here.
He had the natural birth and it is a riskier situation, you know?
And it's definitely something I was still not prepared for.
And trust me, it's the only complications we ended up having was that Shy, actually, he was born with holes in his lungs.
They're
And
tiny holes.
tiny little holes that'll heal up in like a few days. But like, I remember when he first came out, you know how all babies do that, like big,
And we were hearing that from other rooms too. So we were
Constantly.
like, oh, that's gonna be us.
Shy didn't do that at first. It was very, very scary because it was like, I think he was like struggling to like, did he have like water? I think he had water.
I think he did have water.
Yeah, he had water. He had water. It was all type of stuff going on because of the natural birth. We ended up having to go to the NICU, which we were then there for what, like
5 days.
5 days.
Because we're on the 5th. I think we went home on the 10th or 11th.
So it then was a whole nother scary situation.
Where we're stuck at the hospital for a week.
And it's funny because God gave us exactly what we wanted. We wanted the natural birth, which then in turn, which I don't want to say because of the natural birth he had his problems. It could be or it could not be. But we had our natural birth. We were in the NICU for like 5 days and finally got the opportunity to go home. Shy is healthy. He's doing amazing. All of that stuff that he had to be completely healed before we even left the NICU. And thankfully, we were only there for 5 days. We could have, you know, there's people that's there for like months,
and
you know,
year.
even a year. So we're grateful, we're thankful, you know, for both experiences now. Because now looking back at it, it's like, everything happens for a reason, you know? Like we could have had that natural birth back then, but God forbid something could have happened to Ava, something could have happened to Jazz, you know?
I had the VBAC. I was able to heal a lot more quickly. But it was like, but then I'm still in the hospital because of Shy's issues.
Yeah.
So, but it actually, everything works out the way it's supposed to. Because if I had a C-section and he still had those issues, Fredo, you would have been at 2 different hospital rooms because I couldn't, I mean, I would be able to be there, but I couldn't be there overnight. I couldn't get in and out of bed.
We literally had to
like,
sleep.
I slept in a chair in the NICU, you know? So nothing is, what I've learned is that no birthing experience is going to be perfect or what you expect or what you want it to be 100%.
No, it's not.
And everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
Because
the biggest thing we learned.
That's like literally the biggest thing. And what I'm most thankful for is that even with both birthing experiences, our kids, both babies are happy and healthy. And at the end of the day, that's all we could ever ask for. So like I said, everything really does happen for a reason. And there are both learning experiences for both of us. And I don't know, us having a third one, I don't even know what we would want at that point.
And
Just God lead the way.
Jesus take the wheel.
Jesus take the wheel. That's what I should say.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and again, we're not sharing our experiences to scare you guys to not have babies, because there's people that got 14, 15 kids.
20 kids.
God knows their experiences and what the hell they go through and how easy it may be or how hard it may be. There's some people who can't even have kids, you know? And so we're thankful at this point, definitely going around the second time around. All we can do is just be thankful, be grateful that we had the experience to have 2 beautiful babies and come out of those experiences just grateful and with our health and happiness. And that's all you can really ask for.
Actually beautiful to see the different aspects of birthing a child, because it's something that's so magical in its own way. And you know, there's so many different ways that it comes about. So I just hope our stories, you know, can help and maybe you can relate to it, or you can see that
everything's not perfect.
Nothing's going to be perfect.
And it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to, you know, go through these experiences and take them for what there is, you know, because God has a plan. God has his reasons why for everything that's going on.
So even if you think you have a plan, God has the ultimate plan for you.
Exactly. All right, y'all. Well, this baby is awake.
He needs all of our attention now. I feel relieved now. I feel like it's something we can like kind of close the door on that we've held back for so long. And
definitely the second baby definitely helped.
Yeah, now he's like, give me the third.
It did. It helped us heal a lot from it, and it made it like less scary, you know? And who knows what God has planned for this family.
All right, y'all. Well, this baby needs us, and I enjoyed sharing my experience with you guys. As always, I love you guys so much. Thank you for always supporting our family, and I will be back next week with another video.